Go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Scary Stories by the Campfire. We are your hosts this evening, Jason.
And Jeremy.
We're not doing that, Jeremy. I told you we're not doing that. And tonight, we have a double feature for you.
Yes, a double feature.
Maybe talk. Stop it. We're not doing Saw movies. We are not doing any sort of Jigsaw movies. Goodness gracious. So, tonight we are talking about two cave spelunking movies.
Yeah.
You interrupt me one more time, boy.
You and your spelunking movies.
The Descent 2 and The Cave. Tonight we are talking about The Descent 2 and The Cave. And both of these were my selection of films. And, all right, Jimmy, let's start with The Descent 2 since we didn't get to it last week like we were supposed to.
Yeah, sorry about that. Work's been kind of hectic these last few weeks. And it's been a while since we've been here. We went on vacation, and they can't hear you, Jason, for some odd reason.
No.
Yeah, you're coming through.
You can't hear Jason well. How about now? Maybe I have to turn this up.
I mean, you're coming through on my thing.
Hello. Hey,
Oh, she can't hear you well. Okay, that's different. All right, so yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
we went on vacation. We went up in the mountains, and
Yes.
so it's nice to be back. The Descent 2, pointless sequel.
Oh, so that's what you're gonna go with.
Pointless sequel, a sequel that didn't need to be made. First and foremost, the biggest problem I had with this movie, I don't know what these ladies did, but it got bright in that cave really quickly.
Yeah. So this movie was a sequel, and it was a direct sequel to the first one, The Descent. And yeah, like Jeremy said, for me, it was just kind of movie. It just kind of really rehashed. I don't know if it was because of the movie or because of how long it's been, but I don't remember like a whole lot that went on there, except for the fact that what's her name? Was it Juno? Juno was the
Yeah, she's the
which doesn't that whole plot didn't make any sort of sense to me.
It was stupid.
When we left off of let me get my Twitch up so I can see what people are saying. When we left off, the main girl here, that would be Sarah.
Yeah, it goes to show how much we remembered about this movie.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, I mean, Sarah in the original, she crawls out of the hole. She makes her way to the vehicle. She drives the vehicle real crazy, and actually, I think that I don't know if we watched the one that had like the little kind of quick ending, because I think if I remember it correctly, she rolls up, she parks, and she's sitting there, and then she kind of looks, and there's like Juno sitting in the vehicle with her, which is supposed to represent her torment or whatever you want to call it, because Juno is supposed to be dead at this point. She got attacked by a bunch of crawlers, right? I think there was like another ending to this movie, or to the first movie, where after all of that, she wakes up in the cave, like she never even escaped, and there's like crawlers all around her, and that's the end of the movie. Well, this one picks up directly after that first ending there, where she's in a hospital, and the cops have her under suspicion because she has blood on her from her friends, and so they want to take her back, and they want to go find her friends and figure out what had happened, right? And you have the sheriff, you have his deputy. Um, I see here. I'm trying to get my list of characters right.
Yeah, and I didn't expect the deputy to live.
Yeah, she actually. This was actually kind of funny because we were when we started. Well, actually, Raven I think fell asleep before we started this movie, and when we watched it, it has this movie actually has Josh Dallas in it, who he plays in a couple things, but we actually know him best from Once Upon a Time. He plays Prince Charming. So like as soon as we saw him, I was like, I know him. I know that one. And yeah, he played an all right part, but this movie was just kind of disappointing all over. I think a lot of the deaths were disappointing.
Yeah, because you lose the charm of what the first one is. You lose the scariness of the charms. Like, you know what the creatures look like.
Well, in the first movie, you weren't even expecting the creatures.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, now you have all of it. Now, Jason said his favorite scene was this one. Now, he also forgot everything about the movie.
Yeah, I didn't really have like much of a favorite scene, but this was just one of the ones that stood out because it was very funny to me.
I hope I picked the right scene.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter because what you guys are seeing right here is them taking an elevator. Okay, now you may just be going, yeah, Jason, how is this your favorite scene? Like I said, not really my favorite. I just really told Jeremy, I said anything with that elevator, because if you think about the first movie, they went through like this big giant hole in the ground.
Yep.
And they spelunked in, and they kept going deeper and deeper and deeper in it. And when she got out at the end of the movie, it was a small hole in this tree, or up underneath this tree, right? She crawls out almost underneath this tree.
Yep.
And they kept describing this cave as like a non-existent cave. You know, that no one has ever explored this cave. It's unknown.
Yeah, no one's discovered it.
Yeah, no one's discovered it, and da 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 da. And then lo and behold, in this movie, they're like, let's just take the elevator. There's an elevator right here. We can just take it, guys. Just do straight down.
And it takes them right to where the movie ended.
Yeah, it takes them. How do you miss that? I mean, and it is actually nice that this one's kind of a continuation. I will give it like continuity because you find, some of the bodies.
Ah, yes, because that leads to my favorite scene right here, Jason. Hold on.
Oh. But it's that nasty little. Oh yes. I definitely remember that from the last one.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I know what happens next.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what happens. See, this is another thing that this is like another thing that I really just don't like about this movie.
Here we go. Whee! Swing across the dead body.
Yeah, she's got. And see, I don't know if at this point, I know that everyone's been split up at this point, like they were in the first movie, and I'm trying to remember. I think in this one, Josh's character gets what's his character's name? I don't remember what his name is.
Greg.
Greg, yeah, Greg. he ends up getting like cut in the neck or something by one of those crawlers, and he ends up sacrificing himself to save her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a big heroic thing that he does because actually for the first time you get to see like a female crawler, which it doesn't make any difference. It's just
They look the same.
yeah, they look the same, and she literally ended up dying just about as quickly as she showed up. But she, as you can see there, she was trying to swing across the body there, and I think Greg fends off one of the crawlers, and the female crawler jumps up and grabs her on the leg, and they're both hanging there. And then Greg sacrifices himself, jumps across, pretty much grabs hold of that thing, and just drops into the pit, never to be seen again. And you're like, you're sitting there going, wow, that's kind of like yeah. And the CGI was kind of bad on it. It's just like kind of just disappears into a mist. And you're thinking, oh man, that's sad. It was heroic. He gave his life because he plays a character that's kind of like he's kind of almost, I don't want to say comic relief, but he's kind of got some goofy bits to him.
Yeah.
And he's always hitting on that girl or that lady right there. He's always hitting on her. And you want to think of him as just like, oh, he's like the pervy character, It's not, He's actually a well-rounded character. So it's kind of sad to, see him go like that, but he is by far at this point has just become one of the worst characters because I don't know if it's explained in this movie. I know they explained it in the last movie, but I don't know if they explained in this movie that the crawlers they track by sound. They're completely blind, and apparently they can't smell either because there's plenty of scenes in the last movie where they're pretty much face to face with the victim and can't see them or smell them or whatever. So they solely sound. Whether or not they explained it or not, I don't know. But so Greg sacrifices himself, falls in the pit. She makes it all the way across. She swings a little bit more, swings across, gets to the other side. Then proceeds to turn around and start screaming his name. Greg, 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 Greg. And she's just screaming out loud, and all of a sudden you hear, why does it sound like a Murloc?
Oh!
But then there's a crawler behind her and promptly just kills her. Just right there. And it's just like Anna just wasted a character right there. I'm not talking about her, I'm talking about Greg. But still, it's just like you just kind of wasted a character.
I mean, it's no different than Juno sacrificing herself again.
Yeah, that was by far like the worst comeback ever. Because at the end of the last movie, Sarah hits her in the leg with the little pick hammer or whatever that thing is, the climbing tool. And she's sitting there, she rips it out of her leg, and she's looking around, and Sarah's already booked it. But she looks around, and there's crawlers all around her, up on the roof, on the walls.
I know, there's like 10 of them.
There has to, there was a whole bunch of them. And then you see Sarah running, and then you just hear screaming, like she sounds like she's getting torn apart, And then all of a sudden, guess what? She survived. She's okay. That was just her war cry. She's giving her game face.
Let me hear your war cry. Woo!
Yeah. So, but we ended up having a sheriff get his arm chopped off. He fell to his death. Sarah ended up sacrificing herself, so she died too.
Yeah, just so the deputy could get out to be hit by a shovel from that old man.
Yeah, they had like an old guy who was watching the mine shaft or whatever, the elevator, and he's the one who set them all up to go down. And
he's been feeding the creatures deer.
Yeah, he's been feeding them. So I guess that I don't know why they would even want to come up top, but yeah. So they got a bunch of people, The premise of the movie was to go in there and find the friends, but it just ends up being kind of a rehash of the first movie. The only difference is, like Jeremy said, the scenes were too well lit up. There wasn't enough claustrophobic feel. We've been in the caves before. There's nothing new. Not even like some of the tight squeezes that they were going through made me feel uncomfortable. I'm like, because I think they were just a little wider. They weren't like super tight like in the first one.
Yep.
To give you that extra claustrophobic feel, it was very wider a little bit. They're still having to crawl on hands and knees, but I'm sitting there going, "Oh yeah, I can do this. This is okay." Well, and it doesn't help that the tunnels are well lit up, so you can see what's in front of everyone. And and we already knew what the crawlers look like, so no surprise there. And there wasn't a whole lot of, if I'm remembering correctly, there wasn't a whole lot of actual like spelunking.
No, this one was just go down the elevator, and that's about it.
They got
because they weren't down long before the creature started.
Yeah, and there was 3 of them, and they were supposed to be, what do they call them? I just saw the name for it. It was like
Spelunkers.
No, they're not. Well, I mean, in a sense, they're spelunkers, but I think they're called. Hold on, I got it right here. I think it was like potholing cave specialists. I actually did look this up. A pothole, which is essentially it's a pit cave, a shaft cave, or a vertical cave. So essentially a cave that goes down instead of horizontal. So there's a big giant hole in the ground. And these guys were supposed to be, these 3 people they got were supposed to be hired experts who are capable of doing these vertical cave climbs and stuff like that. And they didn't, I don't think they even did that. They took an elevator.
So apparently there are also children crawlers in the movie. I don't know where, but I guess it's to show that it's a colony that's actively reproducing.
Okay. I mean that would make I didn't. Wait, PJ, you talking about you didn't see the children crawlers? You didn't see any actual cave diving? Because I don't remember any cave diving. Like I said, they got suited up. There may have been like a couple spots in there where they may have done something, but I don't remember seeing it. That was the best thing about the first movie, is that you got to see like actual climbing. Like you got to see him go down into the pit cave at the beginning. It was magnificent the way it was shot. The scene where she had to cross over that like little ravine, and she had to use her hands as she was going across, and then she had to like hold herself up with like one hand to get the supports in there. You know, there was like some actual the children, yes. There's like some actual cave stuff. Jim, are you even okay? There you are. I was about to say, you're not even moving on my screen.
No, what I read just like contradicts everything we ever thought. So in the sequel, the production did not want to put so much emphasis on the gore and terror of the trackers, but rather provoke terror with claustrophobia. In the first movie, there was only one scene focused on claustrophobia, while in the sequel, more claustrophobia is played with scenes like the return to the cave through a tunnel, Kath's confinement, Sarah's passage, and rivers through the rivers underground. I felt more claustrophobic in the first one.
Yeah, I think, I can see them wanting to try to do that with this, but it didn't pan out very well, at least in my
oh no.
It's just.
But these are the American caves. But what happens, Jason, when we leave America?
When we leave America.
And we go overseas
what is it, Romania?
to Romania.
Okay, so I wanted to keep. So we're moving into the cave, and I wanted to. Here's the thing about this. Here's the thing about this one. Wait, what was with the yes? What's the yes for yes? Um. So this was my single movie. I picked The Cave, and the funny thing is I kept telling Jeremy, it was, um, it was The Cavern. I said I think the movie's called The Cavern, and when I finally like actually, you were claustrophobic in this one or the first one? Because I didn't feel like a whole lot of. Okay, Raven. Now I know you're talking about The Cave, not The Descent 2. Okay. Yes, the first. So, I picked, like I said, I picked this one because I wanted to keep up with the cave theme, right? And like I said, I think I originally told Jeremy the cavern, and when he got back with me Monday, was asking what the movie was. I actually looked it up, and I was like, okay, no, 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 not the cavern, the cave, because the cave, I think, just had better ratings on it or whatnot, and this was the one actually I was thinking of, not the Cavern. Cavern's like a low budget B movie, I guess. But we sat down. We started the movie. We sat down, and me and Raven just had a ball with it because of just like all the people that we were just like, oh, that person's in it, and that person's in it, and that person's in it. It was fun. And I definitely thought this one was gonna be like not as good, but this one was actually better than I think The Descent 2 by like a whole bunch. What did you think of it, Jeremy?
It is better than The Descent too, but it's not better than The Descent.
Yeah, I mean, this one seemed more like, I don't want to say like a sci-fi movie, but it did have kind of more of a, because this movie came out in the early 2000s, so it had a very 2000s-ish feel to it. But this movie, to me, it just played really well. I liked it. I liked the acting in it. Um, some of the creatures were the creatures were actually pretty cool. They weren't just like blind, pale, naked golems running around. You know, there was like an evolution.
That's where I
Huh?
recognize him from.
Who?
Jack, the guy Cole Hauser who plays Jack.
Uh huh. Where's he from?
He's from Yellowstone.
Oh, oh, the the Jack was the one who was infected, wasn't it? That
Yeah.
was the infected brother. Yeah, we recognized him from Pitch Black. He was the bad guy in that one. And well, I got a whole cast list right here.
And that's where I recognize her from, but her hair is different. I knew I recognized that voice. No wonder I wanted to punch her in the face all the time.
Which one?
Uh,
Uh,
Dr. Catherine Jennings.
oh, is she the one from?
She's from Game of Thrones. She plays Cersei Lannister.
Yep. See, that's I didn't recognize her because I haven't seen that one, but uh, Raven had. She was like, "Yeah, that's the one from Game of Thrones." I was like, "Oh," because I think we may be getting to start that one. But you also had where's my cast list here? The guy who played Tyler, Edward, or not Edward? Yeah, well, I mean
Eddie.
Edward O'Brien or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Eddie, I mean, yeah, he's we. Wow, he's married to Leanne Rives. Small world, huh? We actually recognized him from Third Watch we've been watching. So as soon as he popped up, we were just like, "Oh my god, it's Jimmy!" We love Jimmy. There was I want to top who he's been in sorts of stuff. I've seen him somewhere.
Well, so the thing about this movie, though, He was in Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, I didn't see that. And he
It's
got,
okay. It's very 2005, and I can't get over it. The CGI is garbage.
yeah, some of
The
the
green
CGI
screens were bad, like really bad.
whoops.
You know, it was very hard to watch some of them.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna.
But I mean, there were some good parts to it. Like for me, my personal favorite scene um, was Charlie's death.
Oh yeah, we were okay. Like, go ahead and play that because she was
Because she
pretty
just goes
hardcore.
ham.
She is and see this scene doesn't really show how she even got to this particular position.
No, but I can only show so long.
Well, yeah, but I mean, she yeah,
Whee!
and it just keeps falling and falling. So yeah, the biggest thing with that one with her was that she the so the premise of this movie is that they're um they're cave divers, and they're literally cave divers because they do diving and stuff. This movie is aquatic, okay, and that was the first thing that I thought of was, when they were like, okay, we're gonna go into this cave and it's underwater, and I'm like, oh great, so not only do we just have like a small amount of water, but now we have a lot of water. um Ironically, still not as bad as, you know I mean, I guess if you're talking, oh well, we're gonna have to swim up under this flooded waterway for 2.5 miles before we can get to the little safe zone or whatever. That might be a bit hard to take in, but it was still relatively roomy down there, and they're all supposed to be like professional divers. We're talking about like most of them were like ex-military,
Yeah.
but they were hired on to lead these two scientists into this underground cave system to what it gets some samples of rocks and whatnot.
Yeah, I
Some sort of
believe so.
sample or something. Because at the beginning of the movie, it takes place like what I think it's like 9, 10, maybe 30. It was a bunch of mercenaries ended up getting stuck in the caves, I guess. Uh,
Yeah, because
when
you
they
were talking about the tattoo.
Yes, that was the biggest thing because it showed this guy, and it just kind of goes to show how certain things are so what's the word? Typical, I guess. They had a guy who was setting the dynamite up or the explosives or whatever, and the camera was like so pitched on his forearm where he had like this tattoo, right? As he was setting it up, it's just like boom, there's the tattoo. And it was the only thing really important in the entire scene. You're just like, okay, there's a tattoo. And Raven was like, she was like, that shot's gonna be important. I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, it's because it's gonna, it's the tattoo is gonna mean something, or it's gonna pop up later, or something. It's just important. And I'm like, yeah. And then lo and behold, when we get to the end of the movie, when one of the monsters is attacking one of the guys, the camera pans right in on his like big old monster arm, and there's that tattoo again. So, I'm like, hey, the thing that she said, it just all played out. It was really fun. This movie, just watching wise, because I mean, we've watched several movies. We've watched a bunch of movies, and most of them we've already seen before. So they're kind of like, we're just watching the movie. Yeah, watching the movie. But this one was a brand new movie, never seen it, and it was actually very fun to watch. We were little chatterboxes, pointing out all sorts of stuff and making little jokes. But Yeah, so they're supposed to go down here into this cave system, find rock samples, and come to find out there's parasites down there and giant naked mole rats. That's one of the things that threw me off because the one rival diver who was supposed to be the best. I'm the best. I'm the best diver. Briggs. Um, he dives down there to set up. He's supposed to be the scout, supposed to set up the camp. And he
Yep.
gets down there, and they get the signal back, and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm da 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 da," and then all of a sudden, he's like, "Hold on," no, and he gets attacked, and he's like, it's this thing right here. Check this out. It's a big giant. It looks like a big giant mole rat, except it's got like a tail with a fin on it, and everyone's just like, "Oh my god, look at it! Wow, that's really funny," you know. That's a giant mole rat that's about, I don't know, the size of a small dog. Okay, that's not normal. Why are you guys just laughing? And they kind of blew it off or whatever. But yeah, I just thought it was really weird that no one really cared. But turns out that the parasite is in the cave and it infects the host and pretty much mutates them into these creatures.
And they're all
Now,
different based off of what it starts with. Like it mutated a scorpion.
yes, see, that's what I was thinking. Now, I don't know if it actually mutates the animal itself or if it's just human based that it mutates and it's just carried by the other creatures.
No, because there was one that actually had like scorpion components to it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What happens if one of those, because the mercenaries at the beginning, they're the ones who turned into these creatures. What happens if one of them got stung by a scorpion that was carrying the parasite, and that is how he got that scorpion-esque body of his?
I don't know,
Which
but
means,
the CGI on these creatures were terrible.
and the ones that got, the ones who had bat wings, they were bitten by bats and turned into Batmen. And that lobster one, I like the lobster one. It just kind of comes out of the water like Loch Ness, or Swamp Thing style. Just, it's got big claws.
It's just a random mutation that they get. One person
Yeah,
gets
just
flying and the other one's stuck as a crab.
like as a walking crab. So they had this really cool scene, kind of really frightening, and I was actually excited to see it. So Jim can go ahead and set it up if he's got it. He never actually clarified if he had that.
Yeah, I got it. Of course I do.
We got the scene. No, this was one of my favorite scenes. So, not one of those. Oh, I don't remember.
If it'll play.
Oh no.
Here, I'll get it working while you are talking.
Okay. Well, they get trapped in the cave because one of these creatures attacks this character called Strobe, which when you're what was his role? His role was a sonar expert. He's he was the tech guy, and he ends up getting attacked inside the waterway, the cave there to begin with, and he loses his very explosive little scooter thing.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, you got it now?
Yep.
So that's how they got stuck in the cave. They can't go back out.
Good enough for you, it's good enough. For me, it's good enough.
Wow. So in the scene here, they're going down these what looks like a water slide, and when they come out the other side at this waterfall, it's pretty high up, as you can tell. And I don't think it caught it very well in this, but it was really noticeable when we actually watched it. But when they were coming down and Tyler was coming out of the waterfall at the top, the whole room, the whole interior, all you saw was like the waterfall. and him falling, and everything around it was black.
Mm-hmm.
That right there, because there's no lights in this cave. This actually did kind of this one I did actually enjoy a lot more with the lighting, because when they landed in this out of the waterfall into whatever body of water it is that had these giant snapping mutated barracudas, whatever these gator fish were or whatever, when they're floating out here in the water, all they have are like their flashlights, and whatever light source that they have. Everything around them is completely black, so you don't know where you're at. You don't know if you're close to shore, away from shore. They said they were what, a mile under the surface of the earth,
Yeah.
and they were like, because the way they did was, I guess they had to, when they were going into this cave, they had to go a mile down, so they actually had to do, they didn't take the elevator. They actually had to spelunk in about a mile down, and then when they got down at the bottom, and they set up their like little temporary camp, then they had to get into the water and go about 2.4 miles in until they could find it was 2.4 miles in until they found a pocket that they could come out and establish a base that went into the cave. So by the time, because they were like talking about, oh, just wait for the rescue guys to get here. And they're like, there's not going to be any rescue guys because we're scheduled to be down here for 12 days. No one's coming to look for us for 12 days. And our supplies are supposed to run out in 12 days. So, but they had to keep going into the cave to figure out a way out. And the more they traveled, I did like certain aspects of it where they played with the light really well, like that scene falls into the water and all that they have are the lights around them. Now it did get kind of weird at the end where there was ice, and then there was like a smoky
A methane room on fire.
Yeah, it's like we don't know exactly what we're doing here, but I mean, I guess that's something that is plausible, I think.
They were in the studio going, we need fire. Yeah, but let's put them into a room of ice right next door.
Yeah, ice. They break through the ice and then kind of roll into the very warm, hot room.
Both movies had the same premise, monsters. I did like the monsters in this one more than I like The Descent because this is kind of more X-Files-y kind of thing. I take that back. I like them both the same in The Descent 1 and this one, but The Descent 2 I don't like.
Okay, well, the Descent 1 and the Descent 2 have the same creatures, but
they do, but the way they execute it is different.
Well, yes, that's what I was getting to, is the fact that in the Descent, you're not
off.
Huh?
I'm not talking to you.
Oh, in the grump, in the Descent, in the Descent, you're not even expecting any sort of cave creatures. You think, oh, this is a movie about females going spelunking and cave diving, and then they get lost in a cave, and then they have to try to survive getting out. But then they throw the creatures in on you kind of towards the end of the movie, and you're like, oh boy, didn't see that coming. And then the Descent 2, you're like, well, we already know what's in there. Shocker. In this one, I mean, I don't really think they get attacked early. Well, yes, they do, because
by a naked mole rat.
Well, yeah, you're thinking about you're just thinking about kind of large mole rats. You're not thinking about like whatever bat-winged fiend is flying at you. They got wings. They can fly.
It looks like a mixture of a xenomorph and something else.
Yeah, they did have kind of like a xenomorph vibe to them.
And I think that was because the way they would always shoot the creature, it almost reminded me of Alien.
Yeah, because they come out and grab someone and attack them or whatever, and then try to slither their way in a crack in the wall or something, and try to pull the body in there with them.
Or they flash the lights on the head of them, like screaming.
Yeah. There, a lot of it they weren't showing like the. I think the practical effects with the creatures. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of practicals like when the shots of the creatures' faces and stuff. I don't think those were CGI. Yeah, probably want to double check me on that.
Oh,
Actually,
that's
did
not
look
what I'm
pretty
looking.
cool. But like, whew, the scene with the flying bat creature and it was full CGI and whatnot. It looked very. Raven's probably gonna throw something at me, but it seemed very like Van Helsing.
Oh God. Oh God, the CGI in that movie was terrible.
So,
But
at the I think it's just those early 2000 CG graphics.
yeah, but there were also movies in the early 2000s that had a lot better CG.
Well, yeah.
So,
But I mean, still, just depends on who you're playing with.
well, let's see what IMDb thought of The Descent Part 2 in the Cave. So we'll start out with The Descent. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 52,000 votes, what did people vote The Descent Part 2 for?
Oh God.
I want to play a game.
Oh yeah, the water slide.
Good enough for you, it's good enough.
That thing just beat the holy mess out of them. In the Goonies, it was like a fun little water slide. Whee! This one's like, yeah, if you go down the slide, you're gonna die.
Well, Jason, you're the deputy sheriff. Or you're the sheriff, I mean. Sorry, you got your arm ripped off.
You didn't get ripped off. They chopped it off.
Who's next on the chopping block? PJ.
Besides his hand.
You're Kath. You went swinging, then you screamed for old Greg, and you're like, Greg! And then the monster killed you instead.
And she didn't get like one of those cool deaths.
No, not at all.
Like one of those off-screen blood splashes.
Ravenfire, you got it. It was a 5.7 out of 10.
I would have got a 5.7.
Yeah, pretty bad. People are stupid.
That's not average. I mean,
But let's look at the cave on a scale of 1 to 10 with 42,000 votes.
oh, is this IMDb?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I am gonna pass on this one
Why?
because I know what it is.
Oh.
I remember when you set it up on the TV on Monday, you had it. You're gonna hit the play button and it had like all that. You had like had the IMDb stuff, I think, up on the screen. At least I noticed it. And some of the stuff I was looking at keeps popping it up. So
PJ,
it's gonna not do anything.
you're Dr. Alex Kim. You had a stalactite ball crush through your leg, and then a big flying bat creature came and grabbed you by your head.
Yes. Alex, the camera guy, survived. Surprised he survived so long.
PJ, or Ravenfire, you barely survived. It was a 5.1 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty bad. But we are on the Splunkometer.
The what?
The Spelunkometer.
The Spelunkometer.
So, on a scale of 0 to 100 with the Spelunkometer, for The Descent 2, what do y'all think critics gave it?
Let's see.
Okay, so Raven Fire, I just want to let you know we are talking about the critics. I'm just letting you know that these are critics.
She is. She's like, yeah, I know.
All right, well.
That should be like a 71.
Well. Raven Fire, you're Juno. You come back for this epic showdown, and, well, there you go. Bye!
And exit out the door this time for realsies.
Jason, you're Sarah. You sacrificed yourself so the deputy sheriff could get out. PJ,
Okay.
you're the old man that was sent to guard the elevator. You're still alive. It was a 49%. Jason missed it by 3. And now, the audience score. How did the audience like The Descent 2 on a scale of 0 to 100? Oh, Raven Fire's going the opposite direction. 28.
I think critics are gonna, or the fans are gonna like it a little more. So I'm gonna go with a. I'll think they liked it a little bit more.
Well, PJ, I can't remember the character's name, but you're the dude who told her to jump. You're Greg. Greg,
Greg, yeah.
You're Greg. Ah!
Wow.
Jason,
Oh boy.
you're Dan.
Which one was Dan?
I don't know. One of the ones who died.
Oh, okay.
Ravenfire, you won because you shot so low because it was a 34%.
Oh! Oh, yeah. Jeremy, I knew I had recognized that guy from somewhere.
Which one?
Since we're moving into the cave. The guy who played Alex, the camera guy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know he was in like Lost and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got the look and I'm going. Me and Mary were talking about it, and I'm like, I recognize that guy. He's been in stuff before, and I've seen his pictures before. I'm like, where do I know this guy?
Oh, he plays Firelord Oze in the new Avatar show.
Yeah, well, no, well, I mean, it's not that.
Oh, that's
because I mean, I haven't watched Lost. I haven't watched Hawaii 5 or anything like that. But you know what? I've heard his voice. That boy right there, that's Johnny Gat.
Oh, it is.
It is Johnny Gat. I'm like, from Saints Row. I was like, oh. He should have brought some of that with him to the cave.
Oh, Lord help us.
That makes me go back to Saints Row now.
Well, those games probably got the same rating as what these movies did.
It depends on which one of those games.
Well, with the Spelunkometer, the critics, what do y'all think the critics gave The Cave?
Critics gave The Cave?
Yes.
All my numbers are sticking around the 40s. Well, I know. Never mind, that was a 50 up there. Wait, he's dead? Who's dead?
I don't know. Probably with somebody. We're just waiting on PJ's number. 37 and Dan. Yeah, Dan did die. All right. Jason.
When was Dan?
Oh no,
Remember.
Ravenfire.
What do you mean Ravenfire?
You're Briggs. You went down there thinking you're a badass.
He pretty much was.
Well, you died. So you're not a badass anymore.
Hey, he died in like one of the most just. he was pinned to the ceiling, and he was still alive. It wasn't like he was like just dead. That's funny. Went down to the cave, thinking you're all bad. Wait, now you're dead. Ain't bad no more.
Jason,
Oh,
you're Dr.
okay.
Nikolai. You broke.
Oh yeah, so
You broke your leg coming down the slide. Then you got dragged away.
because when you go down those slides, you got to cross your legs. You got to cross your arms across your chest. Yeah, nobody did that, so they're just all legs flailing around, catching on rocks, just snap, crack 'em, and pop. And then eventually I decided I'm gonna roll down the hill here and go down the waterfall, and then of course big giant lobster man or whatever gets me.
PJ, you're Charlie. You went down in a blaze of glory.
Oh, we I thought she was like she was the toughest character probably. She was very
Critics gave this movie
oh boy.
a
We all
12%.
12?
12.
A 12?
1, 2. 12.
Okay, wait. So you're telling me that critics gave The Descent 2 a higher score than this?
Yes. Would you like to hear some of their comments?
If you're a critic out there, and trust me, everybody is a critic, but if you're one of these professional critics, I just wanna ask you a quick question. Come here a little closer. Come here a little closer. A little closer. You good? You get it? What's wrong with you? This movie is so much better than the other one.
Let's see. The cave is decently crafted, but unoriginal and uninspiring creature feature with a few moments of true entertainment that the rest of the film never matches up to.
Okay. I mean, I was entertained all the way through. I mean,
Bland, boring, conventional, cliche, and dumb.
Okay, maybe that's just my genre of film, I suppose, because if The Descent 2 was such a grandiose film, I must have fallen asleep because I don't remember nothing because it was so boring. This movie actually had stuff that I, enjoyed. Characters that I liked.
The monsters show up and it becomes another run-of-the-mill creature feature, only one that's more dimly lit than usual because of the setting.
Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? You're not walking into a cave that's a mile underground and it's lit up like a Christmas tree. These critics, they just complain about everything.
Well, they're critics. That's what they get paid to do.
Well, I mean, we were just sitting here complaining about the other movies, so can't.
Oh, right. Well, let's see what the audience score thought of the cave.
I'll fix that one. Hold on, I got this one.
Raven's going for the 13. Or the 30.
Yeah,
Jason's going for the 13. What is PJ going to do? 25.
This is worst ever. Let's just go like, yeah, Fanth gave it a 74.
Ravenfire.
Oh, God.
You're the doctor.
Which
Dr. Catherine Jennings.
Oh.
No, she didn't die. Never mind.
No, she was. That was the thing about this movie is that Tyler,
Top.
Cat, and Top made it out alive, and but the twist to it was that she was actually infected, and
Okay. Well, you're Strode. I haven't used him yet.
Yeah, I know it's low, Raven. But I'm trying to win something at some point. I can't go off of what I feel the movie is worth. I have to go off what other people feel the movie is worth.
Well, Jason, you're that mercenary with the tattoo on his arm.
Oh, at least I get remembered for a really decent shot of a tattoo.
Because PJ is the closest at a 25. The answer is 28%.
Oh God, seriously, I can't even win when
when you're lowballing it, man.
Yes. Great. PJ, you get to be. I don't know. You get to be the bat creature. How about that? You can be top. Congratulations, you're top.
Yeah, you hop in the car and you leave. Well, it's about that time, Jason. And with Jason's solo movie and series being over, it's my turn to pick a series. And honestly, I am quite tired of. I am tired of being in a cave.
Wait, that was actually something that me and Ravenfire were discussing right before we started. She's like, so what made you pick The Cave? And I went, well, because I wanted to keep up with the theme. I had two movies, The Descent and The Descent 2, which are cave movies, and then I wanted to do a solo cave movie with it. She goes, "Do you think Jeremy's gonna want to, keep the trend going?" I said, "Probably not. He's probably got something else." But
I
what it is. So
I do, and it's a slightly longer series.
Oh God!
But it's a good one, Jason. No, it's not Leprechaun.
So it's part. Well, yes, thank goodness for that. This is the series.
It is. I'm starting with the series, and I think you're gonna like it. I know I will. I think we're gonna have. Actually, I take that back, Jason. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this one.
I'm starting to think that my series of movies, when I do series, they're always like 2 movies long, 2 or 3 movies long, and Jeremy's like, "I got this. Watch this." Here's
I was gonna do a 3-movie series ending with. I was gonna do I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Okay.
Because it's only 3, and that third one is a hot mess. Yeah, that's the zombie one.
Oh, I thought there was 4 of those movies, but maybe I'm wrong.
So, but I changed my mind because I wanted to do something else. And like I said, we're gonna have fun. Because guess what? We're going back. We're going back to high school.
We're
going to Woodsboro, bro. Look at that beautiful cast of people behind us right now. Oh, man.
Oh, God.
It's time. What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, hey, that actually means we get to watch the newest one.
Yes.
Because I haven't actually seen the newest one yet. The one in, New York? So
without further ado, Wes Craven's movie about themselves.
This is the movie that revolutionized horror films for this genre, I suppose.
And with us being at 109 subscribers on YouTube, I felt it was time.
It was time.
Without further ado, Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, Drew Barrymore, Skeet Ulrich, and Matthew Lillard. And Randy. I can't remember the actor. I just named everybody except for Randy. That's pretty sad. And Randy.
Oh, that's
Oh my God, I'm drawing a mind blank. But there's only 6 of them, so that's a good thing. Maybe 7 now.
Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy. So we only got 7 movies. maybe 7, 6 or 7, something like that.
Jamie, someone.
Are we
I didn't
ready?
See that. Yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Who is this?
Tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
I don't think so.
What's that noise?
Popcorn.
You making popcorn?
Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
Someone is playing a deadly game.
It all began with a scream over 911.
Someone who's seen one too many scary movies. Now, he's taken his love of fear
Hello?
Hello, Sydney.
one step too far.
Do you like scary movies?
What's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a scary movie. Number 1, you can never have sex. Hey, sure, just me. Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back. Get another beer, you want one? Yeah, sure. I'll be right back.
He didn't make the rules.
The police are always off track. If they watch prom night, they'd save time.
He just kills by them. Don't answer the phone. Don't